Hi guys, today we are going to take a closer look at that area on Perry Park Road where the board with Gannon's blood on it was found. And there's some of the memorial for Gannon there on the fence. And we're walking up there, checking out the barbed wire and seeing that it is intact and it is old and rusty looking, so it's been there a while. And I looked at the gate and you can see it's got a rusty chain and one older padlock and one newer padlock, which indicates that that gate is usually locked. And I looked up the drive and there's no overgrowth on it, so it's used. And looked over here to see if somebody could hop over here and like maybe stash a suitcase over to the left, but the barbed wire fence seems to indicate that you couldn't do it there. You'd probably have to hop the green gate area. I was looking over here again and seeing that somebody could get in there that way, but probably would go over the gate so to avoid getting clothing or something caught up on the barbed wire. But I was also seeing that those berms are much larger than I thought and wider, and I'm not positive that there's no place that indents down there, but it would appear that if somebody put something like a suitcase up there, it'd probably be visible just sitting on top of a berm, as opposed to like a board being flat and everything would be less likely to be seen. And then decided to walk over across the road and take a look because it is downhill and I had seen that there was a ravine over here. And it also has barbed wire fencing all around it, but I wanted to get a look at it anyway. And saw that it's dry right now. I know that water rushes through there when the snow melts off, but you know, it's seasonal. And I looked at that culvert. I didn't really go look inside of it, but I feel that law enforcement probably did that already, and that if there had been anything in there back then that had been left, it would have gotten flushed out when the snow melted and there was the runoff, and it would have ended up down there in that creek bed. And I don't really, of course I don't know how small of stuff we'd be looking at, but you know, the major things that I was thinking about weren't there. And no hunting or trespassing without permission, only NRA members need apply. I don't know if Tecia belongs to the NRA. I know that she is gun friendly and that I have seen photos of her doing target shooting and stuff. Anyway, walked over to the gate. It is not locked. And you know, just an easy clip. I can also see that there's a gas meter in there. I don't know if it's hooked up to anything or if it's just in preparation for there being buildings in there. Once again, I couldn't go in there because it's private property and I'm not a member of the NRA, so I'm not invited. But there are barbed wire fences. It's a well-traveled road, though. You can see there's nothing growing up through there. So, you know, anybody affiliated with the NRA or friends with anybody that could is probably allowed to go in there. So, can't rule that out as being any place she could have gone. And, you know, we're looking north on the road, and I'm realizing that, you know, any place that I can access without trespassing is visible from the roadway because we're down below the road. And looking up there at Sierra Pines subdivision, and there's a vehicle parked there and stuff, and I think it can see over by the green gate area from that area. Anyway, we got ready to pull out here and had to wait for traffic. And so when we pulled away, we also are going very slow, probably around 1 mile per hour, as Tecia was clocked when the GPS that was planted on the rental car, the Nissan Altima that she acquired on Thursday and then was out here on Friday after 4, after having gone to the house to get her stuff. Anyway, that's her path of going, and the rest of this video is just us driving in the rain. We're gonna be going to a trailhead that's over on Spruce Mountain Road, but I just thought I would share a few thoughts with you. My husband and I were talking in the car about these same things, and kind of, the mood with the, overcast and raining and stuff got us kind of ruminating over the case, and we were wondering, how many times Tecia had been in this area the week that Gannon was missing and eventually killed. We think it's entirely possible that she did go out here on that Monday in the truck with Gannon. We don't know if she committed any offenses against Gannon at that time, because in the arrest affidavit it says that they can't be certain that Gannon went home there, but they were going on the assumption that he was because of the blood in the room. But then we were discussing about whether the blood in the room was all from one event, or if he was the victim of ongoing abuse and had bled in that room many times to accumulate that blood. And also, we thought about whether he could have received a fatal injury prior to leaving the house, and that brought us the case several years ago that took place in Idaho near Coeur d'Alene, where a little girl named Shasta ended up being the only survivor. She was kidnapped with her next to younger brother by a pedophile who had seen them playing in their yard and decided he wanted them. So he returned to the house and he bludgeoned their mother, their stepdad, and their older brother to death. But their older brother had been able to get up and leave the house while these two kids were tied up laying in the yard, and they had been calling out to their brother because they saw him walking around, but he wasn't acknowledging them because he had received a fatal head injury, but he just hadn't died yet. And so that brings the possibility that Gannon could have received a fatal injury but still been walking, albeit difficultly, that Monday morning, and perhaps he did not return to the house alive. And then we went to the Tuesday, the next day, when Tecia rented the Kia, and we did mileage because we were wondering if she could have been out here in the Kia, since it was reported that the Kia was quite muddy when she returned it. But she had only put 71 miles on it, and I think it took us 77 miles to do the round trip to that area. So we kind of were ruling out the Kia, and then we were wondering what was the purpose of the Kia, whether she's the one that put all 71 miles on it, or if she let somebody else drive it for some reason. And, then it brought into play what areas closer to the airport or closer to the Stauch home could that vehicle have gone off the road and gotten muddy. And the answer is there's lots of places in the Colorado Springs area where there are dirt roads. So then somehow she wasn't driving the Kia. I don't know where she left it, but she went and picked up the Tiguan on Tuesday night, and then we know that she was out here in this area after 9 in the Tiguan, and they know this because of the raw data from the computer in the Tiguan. And Letecia did turn off her phone, so they weren't able to corroborate with her phone where she was during that exact time, but they know that she was with the vehicle before she turned off the phone, and she was with the vehicle after she turned the phone back on again on Tuesday night. And then, Wednesday, she had a busy day. Wednesday, she returned the Kia in the morning. I think it was around 9 o'clock, according to reports, and Harley picked her up. And then she went and got the Tiguan from somewhere. And so then at 11:30 in the morning, she washed the Tiguan. At noon, she met with El Paso County Sheriff's Office, and she did her interviews, and then wanted to leave, and then freaked out and ended up at the hospital. And then I don't know how long all of this took place, because it's not, the times are not written in the report, but I'm assuming it takes some time anyway. And then she's picked up by someone, they don't know who, at the hospital, and then she's transported miles away, where the affidavit says she reunited with Harley, and that's Wednesday. Then Thursday comes along, and at 1:45 they get the Jetta taken from them, and that's when she obtains and utilizes a Nissan Altima that her aunt had rented. And it says in the arrest affidavit that Tecia utilized it from the 30th until February 1st. So that gives me the impression that the Altima is not how she got to Florida and South Carolina. So, more mystery there. But the Altima was out here on that Friday, 4/16, she starts being out here, and that's after she's gone to the Stauch house and gotten her stuff. She's there with a moving truck, a young man, 2 aunts, and Harley. And then she does the interview with Spencer Wilson, and then she ends up out here. Whether anybody else was with her, I don't know. I don't know where the rest of the people in her entourage were staying, and whether she dropped people off before she went out here. And don't know yet what she could have been doing out here. So that's more stuff to think about, and I would love to read some comments from you about what all you guys think, what you've come across, because I'm sure a lot of you have been sleuthing yourselves and have come across other YouTubers or other forums or anything, and I'd really like to come together and try to figure this puzzle out. So please comment, like, subscribe, etc., and I am really looking forward to talking with you guys and seeing you in my next video. Thank you for watching. This has been Another Day in the Car with JuleZ.